Let's talk through last night with former England defender and Sky Sports' Jamie Carragher, who joins us live now. Jamie, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, first of all, I imagine you're feeling, like all of us, gutted, deflated. What are your kind of overriding feelings from last night?
Yeah, I just think it's a huge opportunity missed. Certainly when you see who else is left in the competition. I think whoever would have won the game last night, I think would have been favourites for the competition, and I think it would have been the first time I've ever felt England were favourites to win a World Cup or should go on and win a World Cup if they'd have beaten France. So the way England played in the game and the teams that are left in the competition, it does feel like a huge opportunity missed.
I feel like they could have sort of done anything differently, whether that's with personnel, tactically, to go on and win that game.
I think when you lose a game, there's always things you can look back on and think, could you have done differently? And maybe that's in hindsight, and it's easy to say after the events. But I did feel before the game that England would have to be brave from the bench in terms of making substitutions. And I just feel when we got that equalising goal, I think it was in the 54th minute, and then France went in front, I think, on 78. And then we made changes. And it just felt in that period between the two goals, I think we could have been braver from the bench. I certainly think now with 5 substitutions, it's a big part of a manager's role to try and influence the game, change the game. And I know Gareth Southgate's been criticised for that in the past, in the games against Croatia and Italy. And those changes would have been different because England were basically trying to stop the pressure from the opposition. And both those sides, if we're being totally honest, were better than us. I don't think France were better than us last night, and I felt that the change should have been to actually go and win the game, not to stop the opposition. And as I said, with the strength England have got on the bench, I think certainly is the strongest bench in the competition. I firmly believe that. And I just think we could have been a little bit more proactive in that period when it was 1-1, when we were playing really well.
I mean, the referee has had a fair bit of criticism. We heard a little soundbite from Gary Neville a minute ago. What was that justified? What's your take on the ref last night?
Well, I think for France's first goal, it's 100%. It's a foul on Saka. There's no doubt about that. But it is a long way from our goal. It's in the corner flag, really. But you can't understand how a foul is not given there. On other decisions, I think the Harry Kane one's outside the box. So VAR can't get involved. So I think we have to accept that. That's not a penalty. It was just outside the box. Other decisions in the game, yet you could argue, but you know, we still got 2 penalties. There was talk of the French defender should have had a red card for the challenge on Mason Mount. I don't think that's a red card. That's a yellow card. It was a stupid challenge from him, if I'm being totally honest. So I think the big one that stands out from the first goal. I think the other decisions, I think we have to accept.
And just a word on Harry Kane, Jamie. I suppose, how does he kind of come back from that? You imagine last night he probably didn't even sleep after that penalty miss.
No, but I think we're talking about one of the strongest mentally players, not just in the England squad, probably in the Premier League. He gets a lot thrown at him over his career, Harry Kane. I'm not sure why, but this was one of those moments that will be remembered. He'll remember it. You know, we'll all look back in years to come and remember this World Cup and that penalty miss. But that happens with a lot of players and a lot of top players, and they always bounce back, as I said, because the reason they're at the top is because they're so strong mentally. And I've got no problem at all with that. People miss penalties, it happens. I think Messi's missed a penalty in this tournament as well, and yeah, it was a vital one, but you know, everybody misses penalties.
Well, will he be thinking about his captaincy at all? Is that a really silly question?
Sorry, what was that?
Will he be thinking about his captaincy at all?
In terms of what? Whether he should continue as the captain?
Yeah, I mean, it's really silly. Of course, you look at social media and, you know, people saying silly things on there purely just because he missed a penalty. I mean, there are some people in this office saying, will he have the armband for the next Euros? Is that stupid?
Yeah, that's stupid, and I would never ever gauge opinion off social media because there's a lot of cranks on there, and I wouldn't take that too serious at all. I mean, that's never even entered my mind that Harry Kane wouldn't be the captain of England. I mean, he's got to justify his place in the team between now and the next Euros, but at this moment he's a long way ahead of everybody else in the country to be placed centre forward for England. So I don't think the debate about him actually captaining has got anything to do with it. I think he's been a great captain for England. He's a different type of captain. He leads by example, and he's the figurehead for us. And he's one of, you know, maybe the few or maybe many, depends how you look at it, you know, world-class players that we've got in this team. And no, I think him as captain of the Gareth Southgate's worked really well.
Yeah, very well said. I know you've spoken before about Gareth Southgate you know, potentially stepping down after this World Cup, leaving on his own terms. For you, where does the manager go from here?
Well, obviously that's up to Gareth Southgate in terms of the decision he wants to make. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be calling for him to go or think there should be a change of manager. I think he's done absolutely fantastic with this group of players, and what this group of players have done over the last 2 or 3 tournaments, I think has been outstanding. It really has. And yeah, I mean, I think most people in this country would want Gareth Southgate and this team to continue and feel like it could improve. No doubt. I just felt from his own point of view before the tournament, when there was a lot of noise beforehand because the results weren't going well and he was getting a lot of criticism, which I couldn't really understand considering the job that he's done. But if he wants to stay on that, I think that'd be great for the England team and you know, England going forward for the next tournament. And I think England have got to go into that tournament thinking they can win, believing they can win, because I mean that's what makes it doubly disappointing last night. I think England are good enough to win tournaments now. I think we've shown how close we get, but even though I'm saying what a great job Gareth's done, I still think in those vital moments we can still can we improve? Can we get the game management right? Because it's so vital in international tournaments, because they only come round every 2 years, a World Cup every 4 years, so it's imperative you get everything right on the big night.
Where does sort of Gareth rank for you? Because of course a quarter-final last night, yeah, defeat to defending champions, but a brilliant performance against them. Final at the Euro, semi-final at the World Cup before that. Where does he sort of rank against the kind of great England managers?
Well, when you talk about great England managers, I mean, how many greats are there? I mean, you've got Sir Alf Ramsey. Besides that, we've had good England managers, we've had good tournaments. But Gareth Southgate surpassed all of them. If you're thinking of sort of Bobby Robson's 1990 World Cup, Terry Venables in '96, there's not too much else, really, I can think off the top of my head. I'm talking about one tournament with those managers. With Gareth, I think we're talking about 3 tournaments where he can come out with his head, you know, held high. And that's how England managers should be judged, and England players, not on qualification, not on friendlies, not on the Nations League. It should be on tournaments. And England in the 3 tournaments with Gareth Southgate in this squad have been outstanding.
And you mentioned a minute ago just the fact that the Euros, I mean, they're not that far away, really, and this group of players should be sort of confident and feeling that they can go into that and win it. Is it a kind of advantage that it's really just 18 months away now rather than a couple of years, given that we've got this group of players and their ages as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think the feeling amongst the players this morning, Lee, will be they can't wait to get back into this arena again in tournament football. It looks like they have the time of their lives and they're away with England, and I can't ever say that I felt exactly the same in tournament football. It feels like these are memories they'll take, you know, this togetherness, the squad, and that's down to Gareth and what he's created there as well. And it looks like they really enjoyed themselves when they're away and together, and it looks like, I'm sure they can't wait to get back together in 18 months. But the thing for me is the last 2 tournaments, it's almost that England have been gallant losers, and we've been so sort of proud of them, and they've just missed out. I think this group of players and manager now should be angry in some ways, and that's almost like a compliment, because they're too good now to, you know, accept just losing in a good fashion and say how unlucky they were, and let's look to the next tournament. And yeah, that's great, but that game last night was there to be won, and that's why I think the manager and players, how great they've been, they should wake up this morning and be proud of what they've done, but also be really disappointed because it was there for them.
Just lastly, a word on the rest of the tournament. I mean, a stunning win for Morocco yesterday. How do you see the tournament panning out from here?
I would love to see Argentina win it, just for Lionel Messi. I think France are the best team, but I just don't know if it's written for Messi and Argentina to win. Having lost that first game, they've built on that. The support they've got in the stadium is absolutely outstanding. And they crossed the line at times, I would say, against Holland, but it just feels like they want to win that much. They're going to be an absolute nightmare to play against, so I'd expect a lot more of that in a semi-final against Croatia. If they get through, the same in the final. It may not be the greatest spectacle in terms, we may not be happy with some of their antics, but I just think they're so desperate to win, and I would love to see Messi win, and I think if he could lift that World Cup, I think that would cement him in my eyes and many people's eyes as the greatest player to ever play the game.
Yeah,